Welcome, 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 everyone. We are here with the beautiful, talented Miss Theresa Merritt. Welcome to the Solar Streets, Miss Merritt.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You've just released a book, or I don't know if it's just released, but it is released, and it's called Black Tech.
Yes.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That everyone is very excited about, which has us here today. And how did you get started on this journey with this book?
Well, this particular one, I had um I had written it for fourth grade level, like, short stories, fourth, fifth grade. And then it appealed to me that I'm trying to reach when kids start school, you want to impact them from the beginning. It's like before the kids leave home for school, leave home for anywhere, you want to prepare them before they leave home. And so as I think about that, since that is such a profound thing for me, I said, okay, well, let me write it at the first or third grade level, because they would give them the ingredients of knowing the great contribution that African Americans have made in the development of this country. And so there's so many things that we have done. They're just endless things, and that no one really knows. But if you could give these ingredients to a child at a young age, um, it can impact how they view things and how they approach education. So that's why I backed it up and put it from first to
Mhm.
third grade. So,
Nice, nice, nice. How many books have you written?
well, I've written one.
Okay.
I before this, and it was called A Guide for Teen Parents. At the point in time that I wrote that book, I was doing training for teenage parents with the hope of keeping them in school. Because a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
time they would get pregnant and they would drop out of school. And so there's a if you make a mistake, or and I'm gonna call it a mistake because nobody really want a baby as a teenager, right? Um, you can see yourself through it, but there are formats and standards and processes that you have to take to make sure you're successful in moving forward with your life. And also, now that you're responsible for someone else, you can help them move forward in a way that's also healthy.
Nice. So you seem to have a heart for the young people.
I actually do. I
So
actually do.
where does that stem from? Is it something that you experienced as a child that you felt was missing when you was coming up, or is it just something that you've always done?
Well, I grew up down south and
Okay.
in North Carolina. And one of the things is that we had a real, what I call a real family. We go out and we work. I grew up on a tobacco farm, actually.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and it was about 100 acres. And my grandfather didn't think that was enough, so um, he would, I call sharecrop other people land. He, rent other people land as well, as if we didn't have anything. We grew just about everything that we ate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I grew up on a farm, and one of the connection that we had is the embracing of the family. The kids always played. We talked. I told a story the other day of how my grandfather could not read, and we as grandkids, it's like 45 of us. Um,
Oh, God.
yes, it's big.
Somebody somebody been y'all been working over there. That's
And we would teach him how to read. I mean, by the time I don't know what else he could read, but I know that he could read the entire Bible. And the Bible
mm,
is a complex book,
right.
so family has always been the connector for us. So I grew up that way. And
Nice, nice, nice.
like, if we had kids, somebody in the family that was having problems in math, then somebody else in the family would help that person. Um, and if somebody was having a problem in reading, then you would read with that person. So you were never really left alone to just survive by yourself.
You didn't really need friends. You
Yeah.
had a whole village. That's the definition of a village.
We did.
That's
So
beautiful. That's beautiful. So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one brother and four sisters.
Okay. Any other authors in the family?
Not yet. Not
Not yet.
yet.
Okay.
My
So
sister, I have My son is and we're doing a financial book that is written on first or third grade. I have not finished that. And then my sister wanted to do a bio about our family, the
Okay.
dynamics of our family. So she's been working on that for a long time.
Nice. So Black Tech,
And
how
that's
did you come up with?
and I'm sorry, before I
Oh,
go
no
on,
problem.
and because her book has been moving. My daughter actually wrote a book and it's called Beyond Beyond
I like
Light.
that. Beyond Light.
Beyond Lights, yeah.
Okay.
So um, you know, and we keep moving, we keep writing.
As you should. We should be. I mean, writing is definitely a gift to have, and it's part of being creative. So it's great that you all expressing yourselves like that. So I think it's commendable because the more people, the more you write, the more you give us to read. It all comes together. So Black Tech, how did you come up with the title Black Tech?
Well, I came up with it because I wanted to expose, since I really, really want the kids to engage into what the African Americans have done. I want them to sort of give them a wow factor because a lot of people did not know and still do not know the great things that we had done. So, what more can we do is relate to where the kids are? They're in
Right.
technology. And so that's why I came up with Black Tech. Um, and I wanted to think about yesterday the things that we have done. We came over in this country with tools, equipment, knowledge, and we have utilized them in such a way. But if you talk to anybody, you would not think that Black people had contributed to the development of the United States, and we have profoundly contributed to where we are right now today. And if we had not, we got the security system, Van Britton Brown. We have the GPS, Gladys West. We have the cell phone. Um, we did have the analog cell phone, which a lot of kids, you know, past beyond 40 don't remember the analog cell phone. Um, so the improvement, the enhancement that we have done continuously, the refrigerator truck, the automatic elevator door. These are things that everybody uses every day, even in foreign countries. And Lewis Latimer, the filament for light, the light just wouldn't stay on long enough, but that filament made the light stay on. We got light bulbs now that last 2, 3 years.
Mm,
And but that's a thanks to Lewis Latimer. And what I'm saying is that we have to start paying attention to what we've done. It develops you a sense of pride when you feel like you part of a system. But if people spend their time making you feel like you're not part of the system, then you just go through the motion. And that's where
right.
the problem lies. To me, I think kids get up, go to school for the government says they have to do it, and their parents say they have to do it. And so those two entities are saying you have to do this is it's not it's not making the kids feel good about where they are. But if you say, okay, Gladys West created a GPS, I think I can do it. What is that about space? How does space and GPS relate? And so they become get their own curiosity. And if
Mm-hmm.
they and then it also encourages people to um, to nurture a child's interest and passion. That's why the child to continue to get curious and more curious and more curious because you're nurturing where they are. And if you don't nurture where they are, you get a child that go to first grade, do what's required, go to second grade, no critical thinking, no active thinking, no transferring of knowledge because it's not required because there's nobody nurturing. They just, you cannot continue to give kids information after information after information without them expressing, being able to be creative. And so that's one of the reasons that I actually end
What?
up writing the book.
Why do you think a lot of the names that you've mentioned aren't highlighted in schools, or just names that we don't know much about? Like, what do you think is the breakdown of why we don't know much about these Black leaders that
Well,
created so many things?
I'm going to tell you, I'm a big proponent. as up on this hour, I told you I do have 6 kids. But I'm a
Hmm.
big proponent of parents being obligated as the parent responsibility. You are truly your child's first teacher. And, Black people should be really mindful that the education system was not designed with us in mind. And so it'll take a little bit of time to be able to adjust to that. And if you're not pushing for that, then we end up fighting for things that's not even related to our growth and development. And so
Right.
I think that in the bigger scheme of things, it is a Black person issue and fault as well, because you should never let your kids leave without knowing who they are. Their sense of security starts at home. And when they get in school, the teacher will feel some kind of obligation to embrace what they have. Our kids go to school, and Black History Month, I'm not saying, and I love this man because his writing is so great. But Martin Luther King,
Mm.
Rosa Parks, those people are so important. But then you have positioned people to think that they are really the all that the Black community has to bring to the table. And
Yes, more.
yes,
It's
and so,
endless.
but it's some of the things that our kids are exposed to right now is our own doing. And so what I'm saying is that with the with Black tech, let's start introducing. The book is 8 by 11, and it's placed it's that size. So when you go to your house, you pick it up, you open it, and you will take one fact away with you. It's written in that style, and you learn one thing. But with a child habit, they got 17 people in the book, 7 women, and 7 men. And what it's designed to do is to make sure that you give you enough information to know what they've done, know and I know what they've done, and so that you can expound on it. You go and you do your own research and do a deeper dive and get be curious about what it took to do the cell phone, what kind of math you have. You get enough curiosity, I got to improve my math skill, I got to improve my reading skills. So
Hmm.
that's how that goes.
Nice, nice, nice. So this book, so basically, what would you like for us to come away from reading the book outside of this learning about different create Black people who've created a lot of things? Like, what else would you like us to leave away after reading this book?
There's a few things I want you to be able to take away. I want to be encouraging African American families to start reading with their children. I
Mm.
want to encourage the African American family to make sure that their kids don't leave home not knowing some of the great contributions that African Americans have done. Because when they enter into the classroom and have to learn about Daniel Boone, or Lincoln, or Hoover, um, um, JFK, it won't be so much that they think that these are the most important people in the world because they already been equipped with the things that we have done. So if you just
Right.
pour into someone just a segment of people, a segment of history, it shouldn't be an inclusive thing. But we're generally not included in that process. And so President Obama just now, I was in a class, and the breeze through of President Obama was just it was just intriguing. Joe watching it as though he's important. Since the British came to the United States, he was the first person that they elected, because this country had its own government prior to people coming to the British coming over here to the United States. And so I don't want to really get into no history lesson, but
Right, right,
but
right.
but
We won't
and
mind though. We won't mind. We won't mind if you decided to. It's all good.
um
This is the soul of the street, so we don't mind a little bit of teaching here because we
um
support a lot of different voices and a lot of stories. So it's not every day we get to speak to someone. I get to speak to someone who's written a book. You know what I'm saying? It has the knowledge to share. So if you feel free.
well, what I will say, it is always interesting to me to have people say our founding fathers. Well, this country was already here. The Indian was here. Black people were here, and so you can't find something that's not lost. And so
Mm.
and they had already had a governmental system, but we would, when we teach our kids, we teach them that George Washington was the first president. And according to the way the British government invaded the country, he was. But what happened before that? And so
Yeah.
we don't often think about the things and how we feed our kids and the things we allow the school to do. The school have created things like I tell that when it's been a while since I've been in school, but it was junior high when I went to school, and
That
Mr.
was
X.
like 2 years ago, right?
Mr. Exum was teaching geography, in which, I thought that's what I wanted to go to school for, was, geography, history, just learning more about the land. But nonetheless, one of the things that he told us, and I have heard it now more than when I was in school, is that a lot of times things that relate to Black people, they put it into a small frame. Like, for Africa, Africa is 5 times bigger than 5 other countries, England, Germany, just 5 other different countries. And I could name them, I've forgotten them, but and he told us, but when you look at Africa, it's smaller than a lot of the other countries, because if you want to make sure that you don't let Africa be seen as a really huge country that it is. And so there's
Mm.
many things that we are impacted by society telling us, and we actually believe it because we don't dig any deeper. And so I want them to be able to take away, don't just buy it. You have to live in the world with everybody, and everybody has value. Absolutely everybody. So if you are part of the system that has value, then you need to be able to one to walk in the classroom and say, "Wow, we have learned about these 5 people, these 10 people, and not for a whole semester, and not one time have you mentioned anyone Black, and of what their value is. What have you done to nurture? John is in the class, and you're talking about John because his father is a physicist. You talk about the stars in motion, the ocean, and all that, and then relates to, John, this is what you need if you're going to be able to do math and figure out um, the friction and time and motion and all those things. But you won't say to Robert over here, that may have come from a family that's not in a formal education that people are accustomed to now. And then he has some strength. His father has some strength. His father works on let's say, works in air condition. And there's a lot of things going on in there: measurement, time, and motion, because you could get electrocuted if you don't do the
Mhm.
right thing. So that too has mathematical things. And so if we insisted on our teachers nurturing our kids like they nurture other people, kids, and their things and their interests, the system would be entirely different. Our kids are restless when they go to school now because they don't have anything to do, anything to hold on to, anything to grasp to. And so it's one of the things that we have to really, really pay attention to. We know how to fight for what we need. We just been pulled into things that's not even relevant to us. And then we're
Mm.
taught to fight for things that has no value for us or our kids and for our growth. Now, it might have value to other people, but right now we have an economic problem in our community. We have an educational problem in our community. We have political problems in our community. And so why are we fighting things like men can have babies? I just I'm not, if you want to fight it, that's on you. But
But why?
yeah,
When there's so many other things that we can fight, that would just better us all as a people.
yeah. So,
That
and
makes
then
sense.
I wanted them to take away. I want everybody. The book is written for African American as well as other races, because the other races have no clue what we have done, as much as we don't have any clue what we have done. And I
Right.
want people to be able to see what the African Americans have done in developing this country. And I want everybody, and I think people start looking and viewing you in a different playing field. I think our kids will be able to go to school and have a sense of pride, a sense of belonging. It's no longer just going to school. And so you see, Gus, by the time you get to third grade, people are saying, because that's your benchmark for testing just about everywhere in the United States. And so by the time you get to third grade, what you see is that people coming in and figuring out what the test scores were, and what the ethnic groups are, and how many prison they're going to have to build in the next 7 years and stuff like
Mm.
that. We can cut that out. We as African American can nip that as the kids say, in the bud. We can just nip that. And because we can better prepare our kids. The Black kids are extremely smart. I
Yeah, they can stop
Yes,
preparing kids to stop having kids.
well, yeah, but a lot. See, there's a problem in that space. A lot of time, people are reaching out to and trying to find love. So if you spend some time, and everybody now, I don't want to deviate from my book, but a lot of times now people are sexually active um, because they think that they are looking for love, looking for attention, or they want to be satisfied. I think if people would explain the whole notion and idea of the connectivity of man and woman, you would actually wait until it's appropriate time. But now people are letting little kids do sexual moves and propping sexual, thinking that that's cute because that's what society have deemed respectable. Kids going to second grade with lipstick on,
Hmm.
foundation. It's where's your childhood? You can't, time passes. You can't go back and get time.
Right.
Um, and so,
But
you know,
this is really a part of the book because we're doing it as we're using tech to express what's in the book. So it's all a part of being a black tech because the people
yeah,
that's going to be getting this messaging that we're speaking today is going to be listening to it on their phones and computers on technology. So and it's coming from a pretty smart black woman. So salute to you, and so it's I don't think it's deviating from the book. I think it's just giving us a little bit of knowledge, and it's
well, I
necessary.
do think in that space of where we are and people having babies, and I still listen to people that call me and talk about their situation as it relates to them being a single mom.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like one lady says, I don't want to be a single mom. And I'm from the South, so sometimes I do say things I probably shouldn't say. Um,
Hmm.
but I told her, you control that. You
Right.
control that. And so now you're a single mom and you're complaining. And now you're complaining not only about being a single mom, but about the man that you slept with. But the problem is you didn't even know the man you slept with because you can't tell me his middle name. That means that you
Mm.
didn't know him long enough. You didn't know his family. You didn't know his habits. It's just so much you didn't know. And to build a relationship, it takes time. And that it takes time without you engaging. And so
Mm.
um, you got to decide what you want to do as it relates to this child. For first, you got to finish school. First, you need to start reading. You say you don't have any money. No library costs you to go in. You can go in the library, lay on the floor, and read your kids some books, and
Hmm.
you'll find this a lot of fun actually, reading books to
Yeah.
them
My
little
mom used to
children.
take me to the library. Used to take me and my brother to the library. It was a quite an experience. I enjoyed it growing up. Read a lot of good
Yeah.
books.
So
Hmm.
one of the other things I wanted to tell you in the book, I list HBCUs because a lot of people have never heard of HBCUs, and I'm talking about Black people right now.
Okay.
Um, and it's the historically Black colleges and university. They might say, well, I went to Howard, but they may not know that it's a HBCU. They just think it's a regular college. And what makes the difference is I think it was 1966, any HBCUs that applied and um, any Black college that applied before 1966 became could qualify for an HBCU and during that civil rights movement. And so you do have some universities that are predominantly white, actually, that are still
Okay.
HBCU, like Bloomberg and Bluefield in West Virginia. It is
Mm.
predominantly white school, but every time I go to a HBCU conference or event and I see them, it just really is quite interesting, you know. So, and because I did have to ask the president, how did you manage to become an HBCU when your base is predominantly white? And he explained it to me. He said we started out predominantly black, but as time progressed, this is how it turned out. Then I list that because I need the people to know that HBCUs still have value. I want people to become subconscious enough to say, I want to donate $5 to whatever university, it's 102, and whatever university, $5 a month. I want our people to start feeling that they need to contribute to our growth and development. And so I keep HBCUs they will be in all my books. My next book coming out is science. And so,
Nice.
and then the other component that I wanted to make sure that people got was the fact that there are several people in the book that did not go to college. They're self-taught engineers, mechanical or electrical engineer. Um, Alexandria Mile, which developed the automatic door opener. And I'm sure
Mm.
your mom would know when you get on the elevator, used to be a lady sitting in there that would open and close the door. And it was not always good for African American men, particularly because sometimes they joked and they would touch the lady and they could get in trouble. Some of our men have been killed over that same thing. So now he was a self-taught engineer. Louis Latimer, which has hundreds of patents, and he was a self-taught engineer. And also Garrett Morgan, every day that you leave your home, unless you're in Alaska somewhere, you going to run into a traffic light. And that was Garrett Morgan. We can do kudos to Garrett Morgan for controlling the flow of traffic. And so when we look at these things, I want our kids to know, do the best you can. It is not a prerequisite for you to go to college to be successful. And but a lot of people in these days, oh, the first question they ask, where'd you go to college? And I tell people all the time, when I call my plumber and he finished the job in 10, 15 minutes, I still have to pay that $150,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, um, but they do very well. I have a friend that's a cabinet maker. He makes cabinets for the hospital, for the university, millionaire. So, you don't have to go to college. And I want people to, to respect the fact that people have skills outside of that environment.
Right. That's a fact because there's a lot of great people that did not go to college that's doing very well for themselves. So
Yes.
it really is. So where would you like to see your book in the next? Where do you have a plan for the book? Where you want to see it? How you want to see it grow? Or like?
Well, this is what one of my real plans. I would love for corporations to purchase the book so I can give it to kids in the rural and urban communities. I think that is what I really want to do. And so that is some things I constantly work on, is to get a company to be able to do that. Now, I have written forward because I've owned 9 Mustangs. And so I figured that they owe me,
Yes.
so um, hopefully they come through. And I've written places like, if I knew some actual contact, I would have been able to do that in Bloomberg.
Okay.
Um, because I know at one point in time he was talking about his commitment to our community. And so that prompted me to be able to write him and talk to him about that. And so that's what I really want, because a lot of times when it comes down to purchasing books, it is it is not something that is at the top of our list. Food and sustainability is at the top of our list. And so what I'm saying to these people is, let me help my people by you purchasing my book and me giving it to the kids in the community. And I was asked to read my book at a prison of women that will be getting released soon.
Oh,
And
nice.
we talked about the importance of connecting with your children and how important. So it's a tricky thing. You could connect with your kids at the very beginning for the next 16 years. By the time 16, that stuff is float. They know who they are. If you connect with them and stay with them for that long period of time, you'll have peace on the back end generally. But if you don't make a commit on the front end of your child's life, they're going to be with you for the rest of your life, in and out,
Mhm.
problems going back and forth, and that's what I thank God for, is that I don't have those kind of issues going on, because I did spend the time on the front end.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
It's very important.
yeah.
You're saying a lot of very important things. I didn't know this was an important conversation. I'm glad that we was able to have it because it's something I support a lot of artists. So that you're the first person that I've interviewed who's written a book. So I'm really thankful that you sharing you're opening up my eyes and ears to want to do more and for the community outside of music. So, how would you go about? Who are some of the people I should say you want to contact to get help, and how would we go about getting them to know more about what it is that you're trying to do with this book?
Well, I figured that the financial institutions would be a strong one. Bloomberg spoke about, that short period of time that he actually ran for um, president,
Hmm.
and he spent time talking about what his commitment to the community. And so I was expecting for him to communicate with me back by now and forward, because not only do I've owned 9 Mustangs, but my kids drive Mustangs, so
My dad was a Ford driver as well, so I understand how Ford has been in my life all my life. So I understand. He died in
well,
a Ford.
that's and so the things that we see. There's a lot of things that's going on in the Black community, and as I tell you, the economic side, the we purchase perfume, we purchase shoes, Reebok, Nike. Those entities are absorbing our money and not putting anything back into our community. And I feel like that this is something where things that we use, and particular things we use in abundance. Um, we drink we drink so much soda that I think Pepsi and Coke should openly run to us. People create food and liquid beverages for the sole purpose of African American consumption. We
Hmm.
have bad eating habits, um, and so these are the entities that I've looked at and I've written down, and I've written down 100 of them. Hundreds of them. I look at what they're taking and what the strain is on our community, and writing those companies that have strained our community. Um, and sodas are not good for you by no stretch of the imagination, but we consume a great many of them. We have sugar drinks. We have those little box drinks that we are conditioned to give our children. We have cereal that our kids eat all the time as a replacement for the preparation of a healthy meal. And so and then we have, so these are the entities that I have actually targeted. I only did the forward because of
Yeah,
my
yeah. You got
my
a person
commitment, but
connecting it.
yeah, but to bring awareness, catalog. I email catalog. They already sent me a no letter back. Um, but they make a ton of cereal, and one of their cereal is my favorite cereal, and that's Frosted Flakes.
Oh man, I got a box of that, and right now I was thinking
But
about eating some of that today.
I have not had cereal in probably like 10 years or so, maybe once
Woo!
or twice in 10 years.
But once
Uh,
you get that first bowl, you're gonna go back.
well, but if I don't have a banana, it doesn't really bother me, so
Okay.
um, but no, I decided that I start paying attention to what people are really putting on us, and putting in our environment, and people are making money off Black people. And so and so you have to really um be aware of that in order for you to change it. We buy shoes, we spend a lot of money on clothes. If you go to just about any food court, but we don't have a savings. We don't prep for what's coming down the road.
Mm.
That's what we don't prep for. And as people in the community space talk about how we can change the economic part of our of the for the Black people, I think that's one of the avenues that they're focusing on. What do we consume? What do we consume? I don't say anything, but sometimes, and because you don't know where people get their cars. But I do know that, the BMW or Mercedes, those cars are high maintenance cars,
Mm-hmm.
but you see them in a housing project. And so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and so what I'm saying is we need to learn how to save. We need to teach our kids how to save, and prepare for life, you know, and so that we don't struggle. Because most Black people, when their parents get old, they got to help their parents, and so we have always in that kind of cycle. But if you haven't saved any money, it's going to be tough on you for taking care of your wonderful, loving parents that have spent so much time
Right.
and sacrifices for you.
True. 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 Well, this book is available wherever books are sold. Amazon, right? It's
Hmm.
everywhere. So we need to support this book. I'm going to get this book, and I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to share this book. And this book sounds like it's a beautiful read. It's something that is educational and stuff. So
Well, Gus, can I ask your listeners to call in and ask their library to purchase the book?
okay, definitely, definitely, definitely. And can we so that's basically all you have to do is call and ask the library, because I can do that to my library as well.
Yeah,
So
if people would just call and ask the library, if they don't have it, ask the library to purchase it for them.
mm,
And I'd like to
that's
be able to
something we
get,
can start. We should start that type of thing online. See if this book is in the libraries in our communities, and get people to call these libraries, and so they can we can start it up. That's what I'm talking about. We gotta, yeah.
yeah, that because I know you haven't gotten it, but if you could see this is a
Oh, that's nice.
and so this is Alice Parker. Alice Parker went to Howard University. She was 25 when she passed away, and she
Mm,
created the gas furnace. And
at 25.
yes, I mean, and so if you know that if you created the gas furnace, that she started thinking about this a long time before she got to Howard. But what the HBCUs are known to do is to nurture your interests. You know,
Who's another person that's in the book that would intrigue our listeners
it would intrigue them.
to get it? Because we need everybody to get this book.
So,
The-
well, this I only because I don't really. This is 3D. This is Kenneth Duncan. He lives in New York. Um,
Okay.
he has a company in New Jersey. He created the 3D glasses, and this is Valerie Thompson. The 3D illusion and those motions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she created. She did the software for that. Um, and she's still living too in Baltimore,
Nice.
I believe.
So this
And
book was very well thought out and prepared. These beautiful pictures. That's a beautiful book.
and that's
It,
Alexander Miles elevator door opener, automatic elevator door opener. And so,
whose idea was it to put the pictures in there, and they came out so beautiful? Whose idea
well,
was it
I
to do it like
actually
that?
no, I actually hand drew. I'm not an artist, by the way, and gave an
You are
idea.
now.
We talked about it with a young lady, and she, it actually, tell you the truth, the book took the writing and things because I have got it. The the artwork of the book took about a year because
Oh, okay.
yeah, I wanted the artwork to be relatable. Um, and so, and I
And it's
wrote the,
beautiful.
thank you. And also, and this is the front.
Okay, okay, okay.
And I get so much feedback on the fact that it's a young child reading on is riding an eagle. And so what I tell people is that there's a reason that we use the eagle for the book. It's a very strong bird, as you can see. Um, and we use the eagle on the cover because it symbolizes loyalty, devotion, freedom, trust, honor, divine hope, foresight, and spiritual awareness. The eagle characteristics are the same traits that we need for critical thinking and creativity. And so those are the things that Martin Luther King says that our kids should never, ever be without. And that's the ability to be creative, think creatively. And that's
Nice.
something that's missing in our schools. If you talk to, or if you watch kids leaving school now, they leave school and they just leaving school without, they're just going through the motion. And I
And in some
think,
of these homes too.
well, their homes, their parents, a lot of times, there's a lot of factors that's in the home that people don't want to deal with. But until you decide that you're going to deal with, you're going to just raise your kids, the kids that you've elected to have, and make that sacrifice. So people, because we so standoffish now about what people do, and if people coming to you like I'm doing a parenting class at a rec center, and I really do enjoy doing that more than I actually do enjoy the book,
Mm,
writing the book, because you can get to people can see how much you care, because I really do care about the success of our
I
children.
feel that.
And I think, and when I go to a young person funeral, I
Mm,
think about all the things that they're taking to the grave. They didn't even get a chance to even touch bases on what their passion, their interest, or their purpose was here on this earth. And we have too many Black people dying, not fulfilling their purpose. And a lot of times we we do things, we yell at our kids all the time, we're cursing them out. People think it's really cool now. Yeah, I've never heard the F words used so much about and everything, um, to communicate with their kids as if they were adults. And so you're reinforcing them missing their childhood. Let them play, but let them play with some structure, you know.
mm-hmm.
So people used to say, well, why are your kids in the bed so early? Well, it's like 7:30, they can start getting up, going to bed later when they get like in third grade,
Right.
and maybe 8 o'clock or something. But it's not just the kids having structure. I need structure as a parent. My husband needed structure. They need structure in order for me to be a better parent. If I don't get no rest, be able to wind down, then I can't. So these structures and these elements that you put in place are absolutely necessary for not just the kids' survival, but for yours. You
That's
know.
true. That's
So
true. But now I want to ask you a question real quick about Alice Parker, the picture you showed. How she passed away at 25. What did she pass away from?
nobody knows. I mean, I constantly research her because she has a lot of patents, but she's from New Jersey, and but she I don't know. She was born in 1895.
Okay.
She died in 1919 and had created the furnace that people
Does it
had.
say does is there any history about like when she first started creating things? Like all that stuff is documented?
No, but that was generic things as a child for her, and it's not much known about her. Um, Other than, she grew up in New Jersey and she had a lovely
Hmm.
family, but her interest, she was interested in the mechanics. Um, and she got her degree at Howard. And
Nice.
but she took that, and once she finished, and there was a lot of racial tension, even though people think most of it was down south. You guys
Right.
have a lot of it up here too. A lot of racial tension. In fact, there's a town called Whitesboro in New Jersey that was an all-black town at one point. And so
Mm.
there's a lot of things that went on up north, but the focus is the southern states, as it relates to.
You think that's by design, or you think that's just how it is?
I have to be careful about design because sometimes we, I thought it was a good thing. Two men bought, um, 2,000 acres of land, 200 acres of land, and they bought another parcel to have people come in and build up a city so they can have their own, just almost like Greenwood, um,
Hmm.
and they could have their own. And then during the Great Depression, they started having some problem in sustainability, but it was a good thing because it was peaceful. They didn't have to worry about the racism. They were sustaining themselves, and that was right here, well, in New Jersey.
Okay. Well, I'm curious. Like, I'm curious to know your educational background. Did you go to what college did you go to? Like, because you know what's your background as far as that's concerned?
I went to Shaw University. I have a business degree from Shaw. I
Okay.
have an MBA from um, Arizona University. I have a MED, a Master's in Education from Temple University,
Highly
and
educated. That's what I'm
and I
talking about.
have and I'm currently working on my doctorate. I have another year
Okay.
um, in educational leadership and policy from Temple.
So education is has been a big thing in your life,
Well, yeah,
obviously.
I mean, I take some breaks now from education, but it's, but
Oh
I
yeah, you
will,
definitely took a break. You got 6 kids, so you definitely got you out you've been outside living and being educated. You know what I'm saying? We salute you, Miss Theresa Merritt-Watson.
yeah, but I for me, like I went back because education is not what I went to school for. And so I think it's as important for me to understand the structures that are in place so that I can
Gotcha.
really evaluate them, take a look at them and understand because I really want to understand the failure of education system for the African American population because I know for a fact that our kids are really some bright kids. But when you look at the paper, you think we're the worst in the country. You have
Hmm.
had we have 13 to 15% African American, but we also have Hispanic that wasn't such a big number back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, but now then they're from an academic point, they have passed, their scoring is greater than the African American. So what's going on there? They're not brighter. I'm not trying to compare, but our
Yeah.
kids are some bright kids. And so that, I decided that I just wanted to better understand what was going on. And you can't stand outside and look in. You got to be in. So
Mm.
that's why I
That's a fact.
decided to go back.
Okay, well we are now better for it because we're gonna be getting to Black Tech, and I'm going to be supporting the book. We're gonna make sure people. I already know I already know about 5 people. I believe once they see this interview, they're gonna go out and buy this book because I know some people who just love writing, love supporting books, and that's a beautiful book. I mean, I supported a book last week with Corey Withers. She has a
Uh-huh.
book called Grandma's Hands, Bill Withers' daughter, and that book needs to. I think your book and her book, the pictures and the different pictures in the book, it's so appealing for children, being that it's for kids, So you all doing a great job, keeping the messaging coming. So this don't stop, please, because we have to find ways to get these messages to the kids. So this is a great way to do it.
And get it to the kids through the parents. I think if we can get our parents back and teach us, on your radio show, teach us how to fight for things that have value for our community. We don't want to keep fighting everybody else's fight. And when the fight's just about over, we still haven't gotten
Don't
anything
have
out
nothing, right?
of it. So
But definitely, thank you so much, Miss Teresa, for spending time with us and having this conversation here at Solar Streets. Um, this has been a great conversation. I'm better for it.
thank you. I really do appreciate you having me. Next time
I
I'm in
hope
New
you
York,
enjoy it.
I'll be in
Huh? We lost her, but it was a great interview. Tune in, and get that book, Black Tech.